It was at Lustad Castle to the south of Stockholm that Count Axel von Fersen spent some of his teenage years. The heir of a powerful Swedish aristocratic family with close ties to the ruling dynasty, in 1770 he embarked on the grand tour across Europe to complete his education. When he was presented to the court of Versailles 4 years later as a young man of 19, he made a lasting impression. One evening, at an opera house ball where only the women were masked and disguised beneath a cloak and hood, one of them approached him and engaged him in conversation. Fersen soon realized it was the Dauphine herself, Marie Antoinette. That was their first encounter, and neither of them would ever forget it. A few months later, Louis XVI, at the tender age of 20, succeeded his grandfather Louis XV to the French throne. Marie Antoinette became queen. Fersen left for London before returning to Sweden. He would return to France 4 years later.
In the summer of 1778, a charming, handsome young man arrived at the court and presented himself to the royal household. The Queen recognized him immediately. Ah, he's an old acquaintance. Fersen was there to offer his military services to Louis XVI. He was hoping for a post in the French army, just like his father before him.
When the War of Independence broke out in the United States, Fersen enlisted with a French expeditionary force about to set sail for America.
Regarding Fersen leaving Versailles, there's a letter from the Swedish ambassador to his king saying that he noticed tears in the French queen's eyes as she watched the young man leave the court. When he returned to France, he immediately rushed to the queen's side. He wrote to his sister in Sweden and expressed his feelings.
I cannot explain why I am the happiest of men. I have made my decision. I will never be bound in marriage. It is against nature. I cannot wed the sole woman I would wish to wed, the sole woman who truly loves me. Therefore, I will wed nobody.
The Queen's feelings hadn't been dampened by their 3-year separation. Soon after Fersen's return from America, he was given the command of the Swedish Royal Regiment, which allowed him to stay in France. From then on, he divided his time between his military duties and Versailles. The love that Marie Antoinette and Fersen felt for each other helped the young queen to blossom. They saw each other in secret whenever they could.
The Queen's private life took place elsewhere, not here, where she was always on public view. Her private area wasn't far away, because you can see to the left of the bed a small door that led to her interior cabinets. Her private life was led in these small rooms, notably at the Trianon, but also during strolls in the grounds or outings, sometimes to Paris.
At the Palace of Versailles, some secret staircases known only to the Queen's private staff led to these rooms. Marie Antoinette could therefore receive who she liked, far from the view of gossiping courtesans.
This is the second floor. And amusingly, these rooms, after a long period when it was taboo and nobody dared mention it, are now referred to as the Fersen rooms, because we believe that not only did Fersen visit the Queen here, he may have actually lived here. So it might have been an apartment for him, right next to the Queen. They're just 2 small rooms, but at Versailles, small was nonetheless important. Lots of courtiers were attributed such small spaces, but these were next to the Queen's private apartments, so in the heart of the system. Fersen would come and go with nobody seeing him. Well, I don't think you can ever say nobody when it comes to Versailles, because the Queen wasn't just one person, but a small entourage. There was always someone. The Queen couldn't go anywhere alone. Here she could act like an ordinary woman, but it's still extraordinary to imagine her receiving a man she was madly in love with in a relatively discreet way without it ever coming out into the open.